Welcome to the Clique podcast. I'm Dani Watson, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of The Clique, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place.
Hello ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited because today we've got one of our Clique Academy graduates with us, Kayleigh Greenacre. So Kayleigh is a mindset and business coach, and she is shaking things up within the coaching industry, but she's also got so many other things going on in her life, which I really want to chat with her today about. So Kayleigh, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm absolutely super excited to be here, and it's a pleasure to be finally with you and chatting with you.
Oh my goodness. And I was just kind of thinking about, okay, what do I want to ask you about today? Because it seems like you've done so much over the space of a year, not only obviously going through the Clique Academy and becoming a coach, but you've done TEDTalks. I've seen you've recently published a book as well. You've been, a contributor for Thrive Global. You've been on the BBC News, like so many amazing things. So I don't know where to start with all of that. But I guess actually one thing that I did want to ask you about, which is something that I get asked a lot about. I didn't have children when I started my coaching journey. And when people say, how do I manage to do it, having two kids? And I say, well, actually, when I started all of this, I didn't have them, it was just me. But you obviously have a daughter and you've been building up a business alongside being a mum and being present for her. So how have you found that journey?
So it has been quite a challenging journey, but such a rewarding one as well. I think, it's always a juggle in terms of juggling your work, juggling your, work and life balance, being a mum. But my daughter is my absolute number one inspiration. She is the reason why my coaching business exists today. She's the reason why I joined the Clique Academy originally as well, because I wanted to gain that more freedom. I wanted to create a life for both me and her that we could really enjoy ourselves. We could really sort of, enjoy our weekends, enjoy our days together. I could pick her up from school, hopefully. And it's really a case of, I think, just finding the right balance. So being a mom, being a working mom and juggling a business as well, it's kind of finding that right balance in between and making sure that you're spending time with your children, with your loved ones, as well as then prioritizing certain elements of the business. So it has been a juggle, but I wouldn't change it. I absolutely love being able to be the best mom that I can be, as well as obviously running my successful coaching business.
Yeah, amazing. And where do you typically find that time? Do you normally prioritize stuff first thing in the morning? Is it in the evenings? Like where, how have you scheduled things to make so many things happen within your life?
So I think, again, obviously it's all to do with the juggle, isn't it? But yes, it is. It's time management. It's always been one of my strengths, actually, in terms of sort of managing my time and making sure I have my priorities. And I'm a little bit old school. I have sort of a to-do list every day, and I write down what I need to do. And I just make sure that those certain key priorities are ticked off. But I always make sure, in the mornings, my first priority is my daughter. I always make sure I spend that quality time with her before I jump onto any calls, before I do anything, because at the end of the day, like I said, I've created this life for her, and I'm creating and developing and growing to be a stronger mum for her, so she can become that independent, that really, really empowered and inspired individual as well.
Yeah, I love that. So you are a mindset and business coach then. So what led you into that coaching niche?
So when I started, I started coaching many years ago, actually, through the education industry. But when I joined the Clique Academy, I was so inspired by yourself and by your journey. And I was at the time trying to work out what kind of niche I wanted to go into. But I had a great passion for growth mindset. So I've been studying positive psychology, growth mindset for many, many years. And I used to teach it in schools an awful lot as well. And I think that was definitely going to be one of the routes I wanted to go down. I knew that I wanted to inspire and empower as many individuals as possible with their mindset, because we know how important it is. So I really wanted to spread the word, get the message out there. I saw that so many people around me were struggling, or people were trapped or feeling stuck. And it didn't annoy me, but I wanted to help them. I wanted to support them in terms of their journeys, or in terms of what they were struggling with. And I think the more I learned in the Clique Academy, the more I looked around at other people, and that kind of really resonated. And I thought, no, this is definitely going to be the niche that I want to focus on. I want to focus on mindset. So mindset was the number one. And in terms of business, I've previously run a photography business myself, so I've had experience through starting and setting up a small business, and all the different elements of that. And I felt that it went hand in hand together. I wanted to be able to empower people and support people with the mindset, but also support them with setting up their own coaching businesses or their own small businesses. So I kind of felt it lent itself together, and that's how I kind of found my niche. And I thought that's definitely the route that I want to go down, to support people.
Amazing. And when it comes to mindset, so, those new business owners or people thinking about starting a business, what is it that you see from your clients are the things that really hold people back?
So there's a couple of things. First of all, the fear of failure. It's the number one limiting belief that I have come across with my own clients, or even with people that I've just generally had a conversation with, that they fear failing. They fear themselves getting out there and hearing crickets, not being able to make the sales, not being able to make, that log on to that or get the strategy calls or the clarity calls. And that is something that I can see an awful lot. And when we see sort of new coaches, or when we see new business owners starting their businesses, it is scary. It's petrifying, to be honest. And I remember having, there's a number of nights where I sort of woke up and I was really worried and thinking, oh my goodness, have I done the right thing? And that fear creeps in, as well as sort of imposter syndrome creeps in, and you allow it to creep in, but you've got to stop. You've got to think, no, I can fight through this. I can keep going. I can do this, because so many other people are doing it. So we have to, question ourselves. Well, if they can do it, surely we can as well, and use that as inspiration. So the fear of failure has definitely been something that I think has come up an awful lot. And I can resonate with that, because I was there as well. When I launched my own first business, my photography, but then obviously my coaching business as well, it did go through my head, and I was worried, would I sign my first client? Would I be able to do this? But the more you believe in yourself, the more you push yourself, the more you spend time on your mindset and really working through those limiting beliefs, we can transform them, and we're really able to become empowered ourselves.
Amazing. And what do you think for you from your experience? Because you said, you've experienced the fear, like we all do, like it's a part of being human, right? But what do you think helped you, like, let's say, kind of taking you back to that beginning of, okay, I want to do this. I want to pursue a new career as a coach. And you had those fears. What was the thing that helped you kind of take action despite having those fears?
I think, to be honest with you, I felt really trapped and stuck at the time. I knew I wanted to make this work. I knew I had to make this work. In my personal life, I was going through an awful lot when I started my journey with the Clique, and I knew that this was the time, and I needed to make it work for me and my daughter. So to be honest, I feel like it was the motivation. It was that I need to make this work. And I kept telling myself that on a daily basis. And obviously using strategies such as meditation, I find really, really rewarding. I meditate, try to do it on a daily basis. Actually, before I go to bed, I find that's the best time for me. And then using daily affirmations, journaling, scripting. There's so many different techniques that I have used, and I've tried all of them. And I do feel that they've really kind of empowered me, and they've empowered that belief, that more positive belief that I can do this and I will do this. So it's an awful lot of mindset work that I've done myself on my journey, but it really has helped me to push forwards and to believe in myself.
Yeah. And that's really interesting what you said about, like, I've got to do this. Like, you're in this place where you're like, I need to leave where I am. I need to move from where I am now to kind of make this happen. And I think most people have that, like that moment when you decide to take action. It's normally a combination of that really strong, like, push, like something's pushing you to take action, combined with that pull, like what's available to you, like what is it that you're kind of looking forward to. On the pull side then, what was it that drew you to the idea of becoming a coach and sort of starting a business as a coach?
In terms of the pull, I would say that, again, I've always been inspired by the people. I've been inspired by people's success. I've been inspired by other people's journeys of success, journeys of development, journeys of progression. And I've always believed that every single one of us has our own journey. Every single one of us has our own opportunity to become the person we really want to be. And I can see so many people are sort of held back with those fears and those limiting beliefs. And actually, I think the pull to me going into coaching was the fact that I knew that I could help people. I knew I could inspire other people. And it really did attract me. And obviously seeing the work that you've done, Dani, as well, over the years of following you, it's you know, I mean, you are a pull as well.
Thank you.
You really, you know, and it's such, you are one of my inspirations, 100%. And I can see the amazing work that you do. And I think when you see someone that is so inspirational and changing so many people's lives, such as yourself, you are attracted to that, and you feel that pull. You feel that you can join that journey, you can make a difference to other people. And I think that's exactly what I did. I saw what you were doing, I saw your work, I was attracted to that, and it just made me click and think, absolutely, I can do this.
Yeah. Oh no, that's so kind of you for saying that. But I love that you've kind of touched upon this idea of looking at other people who are already successful and using them as inspiration, because I think that sometimes can actually work the opposite way with some people. Like they look at other people, you know, other amazing coaches within the industry and think, oh, well, there's already so many people doing incredible things. Like, why me? Like, how can I make this work? Why would anybody choose me or invest in me when there's other incredible people out there? So for somebody that was experiencing that level of fear, how would you respond to that? How would you kind of support somebody with that kind of fear?
So in terms of those levels of fear, I mean, first of all, so many of us, as you just sort of mentioned, are, I would say, threatened by the success of others. And like I said a minute ago, we just need to be inspired by that. But we often judge ourselves by other people's success. And social media is actually, unfortunately, encouraging that sometimes, where we look at other people, we see their success, and we think, oh, we're never going to be able to get to that point. We're never going to be able to, you know, attract our dream clients or to get as many followers and this, that, and the other. But what we need to remember as individuals is we should only compare ourselves to ourselves. We should compare our own journey to our own journey. From where were we 3 months ago? Where were we 6 months ago? Where were we 6 years ago? And when you start looking at it in that way, your mindset does completely change. And yes, looking at people such as yourself, Dani, such as other successful coaches is fantastic, but use it as inspiration and see what they're doing in terms of the methods potentially that they're using, the strategies they're using. What are they saying to inspire other people and to draw them in? And you can use that as inspiration as a new coach or an existing coach to really help you. And I think that really does empower people when they start to change their mindset, because I think so many people are still in that kind of fixed mindset area where they're limiting themselves because they're judging themselves and other people. But we all know we shouldn't ever judge ourselves and other people. And I know it's hard. Social media is extremely challenging when it comes to judgment, but it is about our own journey, and we're making our own progress steps. And everyone's journey is different. Everyone's personal life is different. Everyone's aims, goals, and ambitions are different. So it's a case of setting your own goals, getting that clarity, and really moving forwards to try and achieve what you want to achieve as an individual.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also remembering that, you know, often when we see other successful people, like we kind of put them off on this pedestal of like, oh, you know, they're so confident, so amazing at what they do. And we completely overlook like where they've come from. I actually found like something that really sort of helped me when I was at that early stage. I used to watch a lot of like YouTube vloggers online and stuff. And somebody that I used to watch, I used to love her videos. You might have heard of her, Tanya Burr. So she does all of like the makeup videos. And I remember she was still very big on YouTube when I started my coaching journey. And I managed to dig out her first ever YouTube video, and I looked at it and oh my goodness, it was a completely different person. And you know, she had no professional lighting. You could tell like she kind of lacked confidence a little bit, and you know, and then to kind of seeing everything that she'd sort of achieved since then and like how she showed up, like it was just incredible. And it was just a really good reminder for me is like, I don't need to be amazing now. Like, this is like you said, it's a journey, progress over perfection, and you're going to get better. Like, don't judge yourself where you are right now on what's going to be like, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, because you're going to be a completely different person.
Absolutely.
What are some of the big changes that you've found within yourself since embarking on this journey?
So I'd say one of the biggest changes for me is my self-belief. I've always had quite a lot of confidence. I must admit, as a young child, I've always been a very confident person. But as I grew into an adult, obviously the limiting beliefs start to kick in, and I started to doubt myself through my 20s and sort of became a little bit less confident, I would say. But through my journey of becoming a coach, my self-belief has increased and grown so much. And that's developed my confidence as well. And I feel that I am now in a really good position where I am empowered. I am, confident. I have that self-belief because I know I can make a difference in people's lives. And I know that every single coach in the Clique Academy and every single coach out there can also, reach that point, but it's a case of really working on that mindset. So yes, the number one thing I think that has changed on my journey is definitely the self-belief. The other thing I would probably say is, again, comparing to other people. So a couple of years ago, I was in a position where I wasn't comfortable with myself and how I looked personally. And I had an awful lot of self-confidence in terms of who I was and how I looked. And I would spend hours on Instagram, again, comparing myself to other people and really worrying about that, worrying about my teeth, worrying about my hair, worrying about this, that, and the other. And it was really, really silly. And actually, again, through coaching, it's really made me realize that I am so grateful for who I am. I'm grateful for the body I have, the face I have, the mind I have. And actually, people love me for who I am. And I am an individual. I'm not someone else. I am that one and only Kayleigh Greenacre. And it's really encouraged me to love who I am. So to really build that self-love and that self-belief.
I love that. And you know what? This is what I love about the coaching industry, because you're obviously coming into this, as a career and helping others, but it's the work that you do on yourself and who you grow into through this process that I think completely blows people away. Like, sometimes they don't expect how much they're going to grow as a person in terms of their self-belief, their confidence, and really kind of owning who they are and being unapologetic about that. And I don't think there's many careers that do that for you. I feel like in most of the careers, especially in the corporate world, it's like we're told we've got to be a certain way. We've got to look professional. We've got to speak in a certain way. We've got to connect with people in a certain way. And the coaching industry says, bollocks to that.
Yes, exactly.
This is your life. This is your rules. Like, you show up who you are and do things your own way, and that's how you're going to be successful. So tell me a little bit more though about some of these other amazing things you're doing. So, the TED Talk, the published book, being on the BBC. What do you think has helped you to attract such amazing opportunities into your life?
So again, I think it comes down to a couple of years ago when it's during lockdown, and I felt really stuck. I felt quite trapped at the very beginning of lockdown, and I knew I had to change something. And I knew it was my mindset. I knew I was not in a great place, and again, an awful lot going on personally. And I thought, no, enough is enough. I need to change this. I need to do something, and I want to do something. So I started embarking on the journey of writing a book. And I thought, I know a lot about positive psychology. I love growth mindset. Carol Dweck is a really big inspiration of mine. And I thought, right, so I'm going to write myself a book. And I started writing my book through lockdown. And the more I researched, the more I started putting my ideas down on paper, the more I started to create this empowering belief that actually what I've got to say could be really inspirational for other people, could be really powerful and empowering for other people. So as I was writing my book through lockdown and my mind started thinking, and this is where the idea of becoming a life coach came into mind. And that is the journey. And I started to look and I came across the Clique, and that is exactly what led me into the coaching. So it was all to do with the original idea of writing a book and sharing my ideas, then developed into, well, I've done coaching before, but why am I not taking this to the next level? Why am I not actually becoming certified? And that's how I sort of got into the world of coaching. So it's been a very exciting journey. But yes, the book was my original idea and how it all started.
Oh, that's really interesting, because most people, it tends to be the other way around. Right? They decide to become a coach, and then through kind of going through that experience, they then write a book off the back of it. But for you, it was very much, I've got all of this knowledge and wisdom that I want to put into a book. And through doing that, it's like, okay, I should take this now to the next level. So the work that you do with your clients then, what does that look like? Is that typically sort of one-on-one? Like, how do you support your clients at the moment?
Yes, so at the moment I do an awful lot of one-on-one, one-to-one works through, I do a 4-week intensive and a 12-week, and they both give me the opportunity to work with some people to look at their businesses and or to look at their mindset, whatever they feel is both. And 9 times out of 10, they like obviously the whole thing, the mindset and the business, because they work hand in hand. So I do an awful lot of one-to-one at the moment. In the new year, I will be looking at doing sort of a group program as well, which I'm very excited about. Because again, I feel like it's really, really empowering to, you know, connect with other people that are in similar sort of positions as you, and that can really help you. And that's something that I felt through my own journey and training through the Clique. I made some incredible friends on my journey, and people who are in the same position as me when we were starting out on our journey. It's so unbelievably empowering when you have other people that are in the same boat as you. You're starting out on your coaching journey, you're all sort of starting to create ideas for launching your coaching business, but having those other people to really guide you, to support you, to co-coach and to practice coaching, honestly, is incredible. I think it was one of the best experiences.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. I think it's so important to have like-minded women around you when you're on this path, because typically most people don't know in real life, they don't know any other coaches. They perhaps don't even know any other business owners. And, you know, like friends like might want to hear about what you're doing, but if they're not in this space and they don't get it, like you need people that kind of understand like the ups and downs of this process. The TED Talk as well, I want to come into this because obviously being able to speak on a stage in front of a room full of people, like some people might look at you and think, oh my God, I could never do that. Like that seems so scary. Have you always had that level of confidence to be able to kind of do something like a TED Talk?
So when I was a child, I was very confident. I was on stage at the age of 3. So I was very used to dancing, acting, singing, doing all the performing arts, creative arts things as a child. So as a child, I was fine. I had all that confidence. And I think I mentioned it earlier, when I went through my 20s, I actually lost my confidence. I lost my self-belief. I became trapped and stuck as to the person of who I was. And obviously on my journey over the years, I think it was really in my early 30s when I started to again start studying that positive psychology and start looking at my mindset. I knew that I had that confidence inside me, but I feel like what I was doing is I was actually hiding behind a mask. I was creating this barrier that stopped me from coming out and being that person who I am. And what I ended up doing is I ended up becoming a person that just did things to please other people. And obviously, like I said, during lockdown, I started writing my book and I had all of these ideas, and I knew that I wanted to, to empower and inspire other people. And so my mindset changed by doing an awful lot of, my inner work and self-work on my mindset. And that, crazily enough, that confidence came back. So over the last, I'd probably say 18 months, I've been sort of building up that confidence, and I've always wanted to do a TED Talk. It's been one of my dreams actually for probably about 12 years when I first set my eyes on my very first TED Talk. So it's always been something I've really wanted to do. And obviously I applied, I auditioned, and then I was given the opportunity, which was absolutely incredible. And I'm still waiting for it to be shared. I think it's going to be shared in the next couple of weeks, which is super exciting. But yes, it's building that confidence, and I gained that confidence back. But we know that, confidence doesn't just happen overnight. And I know that a lot of my clients really do lack that confidence and lack that self-belief, but it's a case of really working on yourself every single day, really thinking about what can you do to develop your confidence? What can you do to put yourself out there, and doing things that actually scare you as a positive thing. So many people sort of worry, don't don't they? What other people are going to think, or, you know, what are they going to look like on camera, or if they do a live. A case of just go out and do it, because you feel incredible afterwards.
Yeah, you're so right. Like, you do. Like, it's one of those things, it's always going to be a little bit scary. I think even people that, you know, are, you know, huge public figures that do public speaking, you know, I think even for them, the nerves are going to kick in at some point. Absolutely. But it's that adrenaline that you feel afterwards. Actually, the public speaking thing, that was one of the things that I used to visualize. Like, back when I started my business and I thought, okay, I'm going to need to start sort of showing up for my audience. I started to like visualize myself like on a stage, like speaking in front of a room of people, and like being really confident with that. At the time, like the thought of actually doing it made me feel physically sick. But I started just by thinking about it first. And I think when you kind of go through that process internally, when it comes then to actually doing it, it's almost like, well, I've already done this so many times. Like, your subconscious mind, through the visualization, thinks it's already done it. And then it becomes a lot easier. But no, I honestly, like that, I think public speaking and getting up, I think, especially doing a TED Talk, like what a phenomenal thing. When the nerves, like when you were about to step on that stage, you know, what were you feeling in that moment? Like, did you feel the nerves kick in, or?
Absolutely. I can visualize it right now. I remember I was backstage, I was all mic'd up, and I was literally pacing the room, going through my talk. My heart was pounding, and I was like, I can do this. But obviously that fear creeps in. I'm about to step on stage in front of hundreds of people. The TED Talk is going to be on, you know, on YouTube and Netflix and everywhere in a couple of months' time. And I'm thinking, if I get this wrong, the whole world is going to know. But it was a case of believing, again, that self-belief. Yes, the fear is there. You know, I was really, really petrified and my heart was pounding, but it's the self-belief. And I kept telling myself, I can do this. I know it. I've practiced it 1,000 times. I need to just get out there like I used to as a child and just say what I want to say. And at the end of the day as well, with a TED Talk, because the entire thing is mine, like it's my ideas, it's my personal opinion on a mindset to success. So I was able, it's my opportunity to share with the world how I feel and how I, you know, believe that everyone can actually be who they want to be. And that kind of, again, gave, you know, by saying that in my mind, it kind of gave me the power. You know, I wasn't reading a script. I wasn't, you know, saying things that other people had told me to say. I was saying exactly what I wanted to say. And that's what it's like with coaching. You know, you have the power, you know, you're creating a business and you're creating something that, you know, can change other people's lives. And that's exactly how I approach the TED Talk. And it just gives you that power and gives you that, you know, that inner belief and self-belief in terms of being able to do it. Yeah, amazing. And moving forwards then, because you're obviously, you mentioned about looking to kind of branch into group coaching as well, which is obviously, you know, a wonderful way to start sort of scaling up your coaching business. What other things kind of do you have in mind for, you know, things that you want to do moving forwards with your coaching? I think at the moment it's definitely launching some group coaching, and I'd love to launch a mastermind as well towards the end of next year. So something that I'm currently working on behind the scenes and trying to do some collaboration as well with some amazing people within the industry, especially in the business side of things as well, because again, my aim is to be able to really support people and to empower people with their own businesses, whether that is a coaching business or whether it's with a small business, and giving them the support that they need in order to, you know, really follow their dreams and create their dream career or dream business that they really want to provide. So that's definitely one area that I'd love to go into. And the other area is developing my motivational speaking. So it's my absolute dream to be able to travel around and to, again, empower and inspire like-minded females around the world, you know, with their own self-belief. So that is my ultimate aim. And that's something that I'm working on behind the scenes to gradually start building more and more. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, actually, because obviously off the back of the TED Talk, I thought, I wonder if you're thinking of pursuing that more as an income revenue. And I think this is the great thing about when you step into this world, like there's so many different avenues of where you can take things. Like obviously it's the coaching side, one-on-one group coaching, you know, masterminds, but then, you know, getting paid to speak, you know, selling a book,
creating, events or retreats. Like there's so many options available, like even maybe passive income products like digital courses. So, well, that sounds very, very exciting.
Thank you. No, it is. And I think with, just sort of thinking of the different elements and the different areas that you can go into, just like you said, I think there is nothing that, every single individual, every single listener that's listening to this podcast today, you are able to create whatever you want to create. There is nothing that's stopping you. If you want to go on stage and be a public speaker or motivational speaker, you can do that. If you want to write a book, you can do that. If you want to create a course that's going to create passive income, you can do that. And again, it's all to do with that, having that self-belief. There is nothing that you cannot create. And I fully believe in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing I do want to touch upon is the money side of things, because I know that this is something for a lot of our students. They're kind of fine when they're in trainee mode and they're doing practice clients and, they're not having to charge for their services. And then it's that moment of, okay, now I'm launching my coaching as a business and I'm going to start charging for this. And I'm going to start having to ask for money. And that's when a lot of people start to really, the fear kicks in, because it's that responsibility of, well, if somebody's paying for me, I want to do an amazing job for them. And, I feel, it's that asking for money. So how have you found that experience going from, practicing in the beginning to then actually charging for your services?
So at the very beginning, exactly that. I was fearful. I was worried about asking people for money. I have loved coaching, and I used to coach, in a previous career, as part of the career, if that makes sense. So this was the first time that I was going to actually ask for payments and for money through coaching. And it was very fearful, but I had to work on my money mindset. I cannot reiterate how important that is to really, really work on money mindset. Yes, absolutely. In the early journeys of setting up your coaching business, it can be really, really daunting and really scary in terms of asking for the money. And when you start charging, you will start asking those questions, whether am I charging enough or am I charging too much? And those questions will all go through your mind. And I would say that one of the most important things is to work on your money mindset 100%. It really, really supported me. It helped me. And, it's all to do with charging your worth and not worrying too much. If people say no, there will be a reason for that. And it might be because they just can't afford it. It might be because it's not the right time for them, or it might be that you're still trying to build that know, like, and trust factor as a coach out there in the industry. So there's different reasons, but I would definitely say work on your money mindset, really kind of focus on believing that you are worth that, because absolutely you are worth every single penny that you charge. And only you as an individual know how much is what your package is worth, whether it's a one-to-one, whether it's group coaching, whether it's an online course, whatever you choose to do through your coaching. But yes, it was definitely something that I was very fearful at the beginning. But once you do it, once you make your first sale and you start working with your clients, you see the transformations that they go through, and you can feel it. You can see the success that they're having. And, from the beginning of maybe a 12-week program to the end of it, you see that transformation and how much progress they make in the 12 weeks. And that really does empower you to think, absolutely, it's worth every single penny. And then normally what happens is you think, oh, do you know what? I need to raise my prices.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That is absolutely okay, because you then know that transformation. But I completely appreciate at the very beginning, before you've made your first sale, it is quite daunting, but just believe in yourself. Have that empowerment that you are worth every single penny that you're asking for. And if people say no, that is okay. That is okay. Yeah. There are other people out there. There are other ideal dream clients out there that will be willing to pay that price to you.
Yeah. And also looking at it from a place of, well, what if people are really excited to invest in me? Often we see that, oh, people have got to pay for this as like a bad thing. But think about, like, I don't know, like when you buy something for yourself that you've treated yourself to something, like maybe it's like treating yourself to a massage, or you've booked yourself a holiday. You're not thinking like, oh God, like I hate the fact I've got to pay for this. You're excited about the product or the service that you're purchasing. And I think so often we get caught up in the exchange of money part. We forget that actually for that client, they're going to be so excited about this opportunity that the money's it's just that exchange of energy. It's something that they expect to pay for an incredible service. They want to pay. Perhaps they've even been saving for this. Like, allow them to have that opportunity to invest in you, and see that as a positive thing.
Definitely. I think you're absolutely correct. I mean, when I invested in a coach a couple of months ago for my own personal journey as well. Yeah. And again, I got so excited about investing that money. And I you know what, it was a lot of money, and, you know, it's something that I chose to invest in. But wow, again, the transformations that you see as an individual, and we all say that coaches need coaches. Absolutely, completely agree with that. But it's exciting. It really is exciting. And you're right in looking at that journey that you can make. And when they compare about what else they can spend their money on, investing in yourself is like the number one thing, 100%. So investing in a coach, people are excited to be able to work with you. And it's again, that incredible rewarding feeling when you know that someone's excited to work with you, and again, you can work with them and you can see them through their journey and their transformation.
And what do you think at the moment, because in terms of sort of the general kind of mindset around investing in coaches, because I will say it's certainly not yet mainstream. If I think about my circle of people that I know in my actual life, like, they're not investing in coaches. And I think this is sometimes the fear of people who aren't yet within this space, is they look around them and think, well, who's actually going to invest in me? Who's actually going to spend money on a coach? What have you found from coming into this industry? What would you say people's attitude is from what you've experienced when it comes to investing in coaching?
So it's a very interesting one, actually, to talk about. So I think when it comes to coaching, it's obviously you're investing in yourself, aren't you? You're investing, whether it's in your mindset, whether it's in spirituality, whether it's in your business, whatever it is, but it's all to do with, you're investing in yourself, and it's not a tangible product. So when we shop online for clothes or makeup or beauty things, it's a tangible product. You're going to receive it in the post in a couple of days' time, and you're going to apply it or wear it or whatever, or drink it, consume it, and it's going to be great, and that's fine. And I think when you're choosing to invest in yourself, the results are so amazing and so powerful, but it's not that tangible thing that you can physically hold in your hand. And it's a case of really encouraging people to believe the benefits of that investment. And what I've seen through my journey, through speaking with people and for having people investing in myself, it is that kind of making them believe that really is the best investment for them, because it is that transformation, or they can have that transformation, or whatever journey they're going on, and depending on the type of coach that you are, but you can offer them something that's going to change their lives. And that's the most important thing. It's the bottom line. You are able, as a coach, to change someone else's life.
Yeah. And I think it's that ripple effect as well, isn't it, of coaching? It's like what people are paying you for is not actually your time or even the coaching. It's for that long lasting transformation. And I think it's getting people to think about, okay, if I change my mindset, yes, this can help me in my business, but how is it going to change my life 6 months from now, 12 months from now, a few years from now? And that's really like that long-term transformation. That's really what people are paying for. But I think from what I've seen is that you've got sort of people are at different stages. Like, you've got either the people that will perhaps never invest in a coach, right? Because it's just not, it's not within their radar. Yeah. Then you've got the people that are perhaps they're a little bit interested maybe in personal development, but perhaps not yet there. And then you've got people that are in sort of that middle ground that are perhaps interested in personal development, but perhaps not quite at the stage to make an investment. And then you've got the people who fully see the value of coaching, who are looking for a coach and who are ready. And those are the people that you're talking to. So when it comes to that sort of group of people, how have you been able to find and connect with those people that see the value of coaching and are looking for a coach, and, ultimately are the people that will potentially work with you?
Absolutely. So it's about building those relationships with those individuals. So I found that really engaging with people, finding out more about them, about their own personal, experiences and their personal journey and where they are in their lives, and what they're really wanting to achieve. So looking at the transformation that they're wanting to see, looking at the results that they want to achieve. And when you start connecting with individuals, I do an awful lot of mine through Instagram, just as an example. But when you start connecting with these individuals, what I would call your ideal dream clients, you can start to see that they absolutely would benefit from your services. They would benefit from your coaching, and you can see that you can support them. And I think that's one of the number one things as well that I would definitely and highly recommend to all coaches is to think about who your ideal dream client is, who you really want to help, and can you help them? Because it's not always about making those sales and getting as many people to sign. If they're not going to be right for you, then you should definitely not try to avoid it, but you should definitely try to kind of focus on the clients that you really can support and you really can make a difference. So when I'm having those conversations with those ideal dream clients, just really getting to know them, having those, those really personal conversations, finding out where they are, if for me, in their mindset or in their business, and really supporting them by offering them some strategies and obviously jumping on a clarity call to see how I can support them further. And you can definitely tell with having those conversations whether they're going to be right for you or not.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like it's a two-sided thing, right? They've obviously got to, be committed enough to kind of really get the value from coaching and kind of be at that, be ready for it. But equally, you've got to be, wanting to work with that client and really being able to see that you can make a difference in their life as well. So you do most of your sort of marketing on Instagram then, did you say?
I do, yes. Instagram, and I've got a Facebook group as well, which is very useful, very supportive. Yeah.
Amazing. And did you use Instagram much before you stepped into the coaching world, or was this kind of quite a new thing for you?
So I did. I had a personal account, so I did use Instagram on a daily basis, but that was back in the day when I started sort of comparing myself to other people. So I did use it for a personal account, but this was, the first real time I was launching an account as a coach, as a business.
Yeah. And how has that been? Because I know that scares a lot of people, like stepping into Instagram and like sharing with the world what you're doing. And I think often it scares people when it comes to what their friends and family might say. Like, how have you found that, or did you just find it easy from the beginning?
Yeah, so I had that exact worry of what my friends and family would think, and if people would judge me. Again, those limiting beliefs run through my head as well by setting up a new Instagram account, a business one. But actually, I was really excited. I was really, really excited to share with my, with my followers or my viewers or with the world, my personal experiences, my story, and then also, sort of inspiring and empowering them through sharing quotes, through sharing top tips, etc. So it was quite daunting at the beginning, just purely because I was worried about what other people would think. But then as soon as I started posting and creating things, the more you would see that people would resonate with your messages. And that's when you can start connecting with the right people as well. You can really see on a daily, if you're posting regularly, a couple of times a week or daily, whatever you choose to do, you can start to see those connections. You can start to see people that are really resonating with what you're posting, and then that for me has been a brilliant way of being able to attract my dream clients.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, like by the time you kind of really start to do things on social media, probably by that point you've already done so much work on yourself. So if you're kind of thinking at the beginning like, oh my God, the thought of doing that just petrifies me, like it's okay, because by the time you get to that stage in your business, you're not going to be feeling a lot of those fears that you currently feel right now. You'll be a different person by the time it comes to launching. So where can people find you then? So on Instagram, what is your Instagram handle? We will link it in the show notes as well for people to to be able to easily find you. But what's your Instagram handle?
Thank you, Dani. Yes, I've got two Instagrams. So the business one is actually One Can. So the business is called Actually I Can. And also just Kayleigh_Greenacre. So both of them are on Instagram. One is obviously the business one, and the other one is my personal one, but it's all to do with an inspiration for women.
Amazing. So we will link them in the show notes as well, so everybody can find you very, very easily. But just as a final kind of question for you, for anybody that is about to embark on this coaching journey, what would be your words of wisdom for them?
So my words of wisdom would be to just go for it. Believe in yourself and go for it. No matter what challenges, what hurdles come up along the way, whatever limiting beliefs or fears that you have, work through them and continue pushing forwards and go for it. Because I can honestly say from my own personal experience, it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made to become a coach. So I would really say just keep believing in yourself. And I would say invest in yourself and create your own success story.
I love that. Well, thank you so, so much, Kayleigh, for being here with me today. I know you've got an exciting day of soft play ahead of you. Yeah, so I'm very familiar with the soft play myself. So I'm going to let you go and have a wonderful day with your beautiful daughter. But thank you so much for joining me here today. And I very much look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Thank you, Dani. It's been an absolute pleasure.
If you are wanting to build your own successful online coaching business, make sure to check out Freedom, Abundance and Impact, our free 10-day business and mindset course for coaches and aspiring coaches. To access, simply head to wearetheclique.com and click free course in the menu.